Hey guys, this is Sharon, and I have tried 3 times to do this video, and I wasn't able to get the picture to be in the frame. I have been trying so hard to get you guys to learn how to use air dry paints, and I'm going to try once more. I have already done the arms, but I'm going to do them again because this paint mixture, which is the flesh color, which I have mixed this Folk Art Glass and Tile medium, stirred with this stir stick because it settles to the bottom significantly. I mixed distilled water from ShopRite, and I mixed several colors to get this flesh color, and I will show you what I used. I used parchment, I used fawn, I used yellow ochre, I used honeycomb. I might not have used the fawn. It's hard to remember now. I used the engine red, and I used the crushed coral. And it's too thin. It did not really show any difference at all. So I am going to show you my mixture, which absolutely needs to be stirred. It's clumpy right now. I cover it and use it over and over again because I keep adding color to it for the subsequent layers after the initial layer. So I just cover it with saran wrap. But after you come back to it in a day or so, you need to re-stir it. So I'm going to add, straight from the bottle, I just brush some of it off with my Maxine's mop brush, 1/2 inch mop brush, and I need to make it so it's going to show up a little better. So I'm just adding more pigment to the mixture, and I apply it directly to the vinyl with the brush, and then I pounce it with my cosmetic wedge. So I'm going to do the leg. Cover this up. I'm going to do the leg first. So I'm going to show you how I do it. And I hope this is in the camera. Just painting the vinyl. Paint, making sure you get no streaks. Just keep dipping your brush in and get more paint. Just load the vinyl with the paint. Get rid of any streaks or parts that you didn't cover because you're working with air dry paint, so you don't have the luxury of waiting. Genesis don't cure until you bake them, so you have all the time in the world. But air dry paints, you need to work a little quicker because they dry. They dry right away, actually. So it's a little more stressful, but you don't have to wait in between baking each layer, which then you don't have to, worry about your vinyl burning in the oven, which I particularly love. So I think you can do a doll quicker with this method using air dry paints. So just getting in all the little creases with the paint. I do hope this one is on camera, folks. I've tried so many times. I really have. My tripod's not the best. So I'm just covering the leg with the paint, as I hope you can see. Making sure to cover every single part of the vinyl. I'm getting a lot of lint today. Some days you will. We don't live in a lintless society, do we? It would be nice if we did, but we don't. So you're going to be dealing with lint. Okay, so take your cosmetic wedge, and just like with Genesis, just pounce, pounce, pounce. Pounce, 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 pounce. And get that nice matte, even finish. And when your wedge gets saturated, just change to another part of the wedge. Instead of the flat part, you can use the side. And then when that fails, just get a new wedge. And to get in the creases, I use the tip of the cosmetic wedge. And if it's still too deep of a crease, I take another smaller mop brush and just go in there like that to get it out of the creases. So I happen to be good with color, so I know, like, it's really, really hard to screw up on a Reborn doll. Honestly, folks, if you have any sense of color at all, you'll be okay. And any sense of attention to detail is necessary. And you have to be patient, because painting a doll takes time. And you don't want to rush it by putting too thick coat of paint on, because it will look like paint. It will look chalky or something that you don't want. So it will take time. It will take attention to detail. In other words, be in good lighting and inspect your work as you're going along to make sure that there's no pooling of paint in the creases and things like that. Make sure there's no streaks or lint. And see, I'm using this edge, and you can also just use this edge to pounce it in. And you don't really see much of a difference with the first coat, because it's really sealing the vinyl for subsequent layers. Because vinyl wants to resist paint. I don't care what kind of vinyl or what kind of paint, but vinyl is not porous like wood, and it wants to resist paint. So you have to apply multiple thin layers, and you have to use a medium to set the paint into the vinyl. And if it's air dry paints, that medium is this. So I hope that helps. So that leg looks good. And of course I started with a washed kit to get the oils from the factory off. Let me just take a peek at the camera and see if I am in. I think you're seeing this. I'm going to do the next leg. Let me get another wedge. I'm going to do another leg to show you guys. So I'm just covering the leg with the paint, working as quickly as I can because I'm dealing with air dry paints, making sure there's no lint and no streaks, covering every single portion of the vinyl. And it helps to have a paper towel with you so that you can clean up your mess as you're going along. And I don't have a paper towel with me because I just, on the spur of the moment, I'm a spur of the moment kind of girl. I decided to do this video to show you guys. So I wasn't completely prepared because as I said, I tried to do this video a few times before and it wasn't in the frame, and I was like, oh, okay. That's not going to help them if they can't see what I'm doing. So I hope I was zoomed in a little bit too far, I think, because I wanted to get close. And by getting too close, I was not showing anything. So it's a little bit runny, but that's okay. Like I said, it's really, really hard, folks, to screw up. I should say mess up. It sounds a lot better, doesn't it? Okay, so now I'm going to take my wedge and pounce. Pounce, pounce, pounce. Get the paint evenly into the vinyl. Get rid of all those drips. Take the corner, the tip, to get into the creases. Take any surface of the cosmetic wedge you can use to do this. Getting a lot of lint today, folks. It's flannel and fleece season, so I'm wearing a fleece shirt today. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. That I'm getting a little more lint than normal, but anything is rectifiable. I have not messed up a kit yet, and I've done about 70. Even my beginner years, I was able to correct anything. Believe me when I tell you that. It just takes a little imagination, and it takes a little ingenuity, and you can do it. I have faith in you folks. As you know, the cost of Reborns has skyrocketed, so you need to learn how to make your own. And once you start really liking your own work, you will really not want to buy anyone else's. So that's how much faith I have in you guys. Yeah. If I can do it, you can do it. Believe me when I tell you that. I have my toothpick because there's a little piece there that is not coming out. And then I'll just take my other wedge, my other mop brush to get rid of the lint. Make sure that the creases don't have pooled paint in them. People are blowing their leaves and stuff like that outside today because it's noisy. I have my screen door open. I am in front of my slider, and I have the screen door so that I can get some fresh air while I'm painting. So if you hear noise, that's what it is. Everybody's out doing their leaves or whatever today. So another thing, if you do get streaking in the initial coat with air dry paints, that's not a problem either, because your subsequent layers will take care of that. Yes, they will. Your subsequent layers will take care of that streaking, and then when you do your modeling, you won't see any of that streaking, because modeling makes the color very uneven, which is what you want. So, like I said, and I'm repeating again, it's very hard to screw up, mess up. It's mostly requires courage. And to do a reborn doll, that's all you need is courage and the willingness. And you'll do fine. And you don't need expensive air dry paints. You really don't. I'm proof of that. You just need any, actually the best acrylic paints, I was told by the manufacturer of this, are these paints, Folk Art, acrylic. And make sure it says matte, like I've said in my previous videos. So, the next part is the head. This is Grant, and his head is huge, so I am not going to do it on camera. I want to make sure that this came out first. So, okay folks, stay tuned for the next lesson. I'm going to end this one and just attach subsequent ones. See you guys.